Hey, everybody. I'm Boots.
And I'm Coco.
Welcome to Cocoism, the podcast. Now, today's episode is not for the faint of heart. It's for the curious, the brave, the one who hears a noise in the dark and says, wait, what was that? Because sitting at this table with us today are two women who didn't just make a film. They stepped into a world that feels so real, it kind of lingers. Hunting Matthew Nichols, the project that grabbed attention the second we saw it. An independent horror film that doesn't rely on tricks. It relies on tension, presence, and that feeling like something is watching you. She's captivating, grounded, and the emotional heartbeat of this story. The woman who brought Terra Nichols to life in a way that had us leaning forward, holding our breath, and saying, oh, she's that girl. Please welcome the stunning, the fearless Miranda MacDougall.
And sitting next to her is Lucy McNulty, which she is a producer on this delicious movie. So girls, let's get right into all of this.
Yeah, let's get into it. Also, thank you for that gorgeous, stunning intro. Wow, you really you know how to start it off strong.
I love that.
I mean, this guy just when he writes this stuff and he reads it to me, I'm like gagged. Gooped.
Poetry,
Done.
full poetry.
Yeah.
Oh my
Honestly, honored. Do you want to do my bio?
I'd be so honored.
I
to
will
do that for
send you. I'll send it over. I'll send some info. Perfect. Just send me your
I love
rate.
that.
It's great.
Period.
I'm dying to jump into the movie Hunting Matthew Nichols with you both. Could you give us a little bit of a backstory of how you came into the project together?
Yeah, Lucy, do you want to start first? Because you were involved in this way before I was.
Yeah, I got involved in, I believe it was the summer of 2022. I had just made my first short, and I had been working with one of the producers, Matt Villeneuve, and we were trying to find a feature that we wanted to work on. And we were reading a lot of scripts and we were taking a lot of pitches. And I ran into Markian, one of the writers and directors of the film, at a party, and he said that he had something that he was working on. And I read it, and all of us were like, this is the one. It was so exceptional. And we just were like, okay, we're going to figure this out. We were working for this company at the time that ended up, they had some money, some development money, but then it ended up going under because of COVID. So we were like, you know what? We're going to figure it out. We're going to raise the money ourselves. And it was really cool because a year later, the party that I had met him at, that night was the first day of principal photography. So it was like a whole cycle that happened in a year.
Wow, I love that.
Too. I love an independent film that makes such impact, and we were just talking about, here in LA, we have an official Monday night date night, and we were able to go to AMC and see a surprise screening of Hunting Matthew Nichols, and I loved it so much in the way that it started. Markian introduced the film, and I was like, oh my God, like this case is still going on. Like we're gonna find out. And so we we went on this journey through the movie, and it just kept building and building and building.
Yeah.
And
You're not alone. I feel like I have family that come to it, and also like the woman who plays Tara's mother is my actual mom. And I have family come and see it, and they're like, wait, is this real? And I'm like, that's your aunt.
No, it's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah. But so you guys, were you at the Grove? Did you go see it at the Grove on that Monday? Yes. And he wore his neck brace, right? Did he do
I think he in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I know, and Markine and I spent like the last couple of weeks just like running around LA, him putting this neck brace on and like doing little like bits and things. But yeah, the commitment to the documentary side of it has been so exciting, and like something that the marketing team just really decided was going to be a thing and ran with. And I think it's such a fun part of this, and so in the spirit of like independent filmmaking, right?
Yes.
And John have really been creating this world and building it out since development. Like they were really sort of thinking about always what next, and I think it really paid off.
Seriously, like halfway through the film, I was like, they got me, and I was voted most gullible in high school, and it's like
Me
it's
too.
And
still,
honey, you're living up. You're living up.
it's still following me.
Oh my God. And I literally, I was confused to the point where it was like, I believed it until you got torn out of the house. And I was like,
Till then?
oh.
Oh, something witchy
Oh.
is going on. Yes.
Because I was like, I've kind of like been through stuff until
Right?
that point. And I was like,
Yes, yes,
and then
yes.
someone hopped out of the tree and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they got me.
Someone told me this was my favorite review. They said, I actually didn't believe it was real until you got pulled out of the cabin. I was like, that's a whole other level of your reality. If that was the thing that was like, no, this really happened. Which I
Yeah,
kind of love. I feel like we should run with that narrative a little bit more.
seriously.
Can you both take us into the making of this movie? I read that it was shot in 12 days.
It's crazy.
How do you do something like that? I know the budget was like not huge. And again, like the impact of the movie is so profound. How do you make this sort of magic in 12 days? And what was that like?
Good people, passionate people, talented people. I think like everyone had to really be on the same page with what we were trying to achieve. And I do think, as Lucy said, like it was just a really exceptional script and it felt so original. And the energy on set every day was like everybody was stoked to be there and everyone felt like there was like ownership for each department and each reason why one was on set, you know? And I think like that makes it so that I think we were ahead one day. Didn't we get a day off because we like shot so quickly? And that speaks to Markian being really decisive and like knowing what he wanted. And it wasn't like, let's do 1,000 takes and then I'll decide. Like I think it was we know what we have to accomplish here. And well, let's get 1 or 2 takes of each and then move on. So, and I think you see that like immediacy in the final project or final product of the film.
I love that. And when did you get involved? Like, what's your story? And when did they?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Where did you come
Who is
from?
she?
I had
Who is she?
a regular old audition, you know. I kind of like I
Uh,
knew Lucy Markian, and so when my agent sent me the breakdown for this, I was like, oh sweet, I know these people, I love their work. Absolutely, I'll put something on tape. And I read the script and I loved it right away. And I know like everyone says this, like I have to play this role, but there are certain roles that come your way, and you're like, no, I know I can do this. And that's a great feeling because most of them you get and you're like, how am I going to do this? So
mm,
I think that yeah, I I'm a sister. I have 3 brothers. I really resonated with that aspect of the story. I've spent a lot of time on Vancouver Island as well, and like I it was something that I was really wanting to play, was a character like this, someone so complex and layered and grieving and going through it, but like that not being the entirety of their story, someone that's like moving forward through something instead of like wallowing in it. So I loved the activeness of Terra. I loved the challenge to really like trick the audience into thinking that this was real. I thought that was like such a unique acting challenge. And so yes, I auditioned and I think it was a pretty quick like we went to camera pretty quickly after the casting took place. Had a fun little virtual callback with this crew and then got the part and started working.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
too. I mean, I love the part in the movie where the film plays like homage to the Blair Witch Project.
Mm.
And I feel like when you're bringing that into the film, like you really got to step it up. And it's like that was the test for me, and this movie really did that, you know. Um,
And it really took it to a whole nother level that it almost had to go to
Mhm.
even like be able to say those words, you know, because it took like Blair Witch, like what's it called? I always have a hard time saying this.
Documentary?
Documentary. Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Took those ideas and because you know our culture is so obsessed with finding out stuff and it's so
Oh
obsessed
my
with
God.
knowing the full story, so it
Yes.
took that obsession and then that like Blair Witch like spice and then
Yes.
it was literally magic, honestly.
Thank
Like
you. Thank you. That's what we were wanting to achieve. And like, I think it's a really it's a potent time for a movie like this because we are
Mm.
dealing with like what is real, what is not. Like we in the advent of like AI and there's so much questioning about what is real and there's such a hunger for truth right now. Um
Yes.
and so I think like buying into that and playing in that landscape, it just made like this time kind of ripe for a film like this.
Well, and
Mm.
Sean and Markian created this framework, this container, this script in a way that they really wanted the actors to play within it, and they wanted improv, and they wanted people to bring themselves and the characters to life. And I feel like the actors really delivered, and just the container for it, like
Mm.
again, on the page, Shauna Markian did a wonderful job and it really pops, but they also left a lot of room, and I think that kind of just really kind of lifts up everybody involved.
It was
Oh, yeah.
so enjoyable to be like, "Hey, this is what we have to achieve in this scene. This is what's written." And the writing was good, so I wasn't like, "Okay, gonna not say that." That never happened, but it was
Yeah.
like it just gave you freedom to exist as a real human being rather than like fitting yourself into something that maybe wasn't the most efficient way to like get information across because there is so much information in this film and I forget it when I'm watching it because I think they've done a great job at like honoring the story and the stakes of it all beyond just like all the information that you need to get in order to understand what happened with like this case essentially, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's so great. It makes me think of like, if we're on set doing hair,
Mm,
and I think that it takes a collective of the team to, be excited about the project. And,
yeah.
in the end, it's that harmony that
Mm.
gives you that like, okay, like, yes, we did this, no matter how long the hours are, no matter what it takes out of you. Some projects are so rewarding in that way, and I'm always grateful for that experience. It sounds like you all had a great time, together.
We
Yeah.
did. And like specifically, Lucy and I, we were there was like yeah, we became really close on this project and I think like this obviously this film has been life-changing in so many ways, but specifically like I met one of my very best friends on this show and our love really was born in like a very small
Mm.
powerless motel
Mhm.
at the northern point of Vancouver Island because we lost power. The entire
Oh, wow.
town where we were shooting in had zero power from the day that we arrived. So you've all been on film sets. A little bit tricky
Yeah.
to do the job. So we just
But
ended up
also
having this
so
like
fitting, so
but
fitting.
so fitting for this kind of film. We're like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to make this work, which we did. And the people, like the town was incredible, and like it was a
All the
very
we were staying at this hotel and everyone left.
yeah. The
Everyone
people
left.
who
All
worked
the
there,
other guests, the
they're like,
staff, they
gotta
just left
go.
us. We're like, "Well, we have nowhere else to
So
go."
we were alone. We were a film crew alone. This could be we should have done a documentary about this. We were using like little lights off the grip van to like make pathways to light our way because we were in the pitch black.
Wow.
We had like chips for dinner. We maybe borrowed some of their wine from the hotel. No one was there telling us what to do, so we had to make do. And it ended up the power came back on. The town was lovely. We ended up getting what we needed to get there. But no, Lucy and I really bonded and then we have been able to like go on this whole other adventure of producing and developing and directing and writing the two of us. And even in the past like 2 years, we've had some really exciting things start to take off. So it's just like it's a testament to making work with cool people and like continuing that through
Mm.
line is like it's just it's the best. It's so exciting.
And it's necessary. I mean, it's like
It
especially
is.
especially now, it's like relationships and people you decide to work with, it's kind of everything because if you don't feel good at work now and we don't feel good outside of work, we have to make sure we can control a little bit of this, and that is the people that we choose to be around.
Yeah.
You know?
A hundred
That's
percent.
Well, it's the building of creatives and relationships.
yeah.
Like you two forming something after the film. It's like you said, it's really that through line.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
being here in LA, for a while now, it's like had that experience too, where we're in creative projects, and it's like, oh, I want to do something with you again
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes,
Or like call me anytime, like we'll jump in no matter what. You build
absolutely.
it's like incredible
Mhm.
to
It
like
is,
form that.
and it's such a testament to like the magnetism and the energy that exists among creatives because pretty quickly you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
I like you. I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of that. Not even for my own, growth and career, but I just want to be around you and I want to support you in what you're doing because I think you're
Mm.
magic. And like if I have
Mhm.
any little skill that can help you do what I can tell you're meant to do, like get me there. I want to help, you know?
I love that.
I will say
Yes.
And
too, like a lot of the folks in this film come from the theater, and I met Marky and
Yeah.
Sean in theater school. We were all in different classes, but we all went to the same school a few years apart. So did Ryan, who plays the cameraman. Like, there's just so many of us that come from that community, and I know that community in particular is very ensemble based, and
yeah.
definitely you could feel that in production for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. And I love it too. A couple things that you guys said. I love the word container. Definitely
Mm,
taking that because it's such a, when you work on projects that are not a lot of people, right? Everyone has to work together for it to really go smoothly. But then also, like you said about Marky, and I loved how you said that, it was like, this is what I want to do. And I love working with people that it's like you go there and you have your job. There's a little room, but everything is set up and everything is so efficient. But
Yeah,
those are like, that
totally.
is
and
talent.
so much, I mean, so much of anything is done in prep, and I think, like, Matt, one of our producers, like, he scheduled the shit out of this movie,
Mm,
and
Mm,
set us up for success, and Markian was Miranda already said this, but so specific with what he wanted. They had already shot a proof of concept, so he kinda knew, right? Like, he
yeah.
knew, he was inspired by the documentaries of the time, found footage of the time, and he kind of
mm.
executed exactly what he saw, which was really incredible.
And then I think, like, as an actor too, you feel really safe when you're working with a director who really knows what they want, and this film wouldn't have been possible without someone who really knew the genre and knew what they were trying to do. I think we probably would not have finished if we had someone who wasn't as decisive as Markian,
And
even with
his
Matt's
character.
incredible schedule.
Yes,
Mm.
totally. Yeah.
Wow. I want to jump back into the role a little bit more for Hunting
Okay.
Matthew Nichols. Miranda, Terra Nichols is not just a character, she's the emotional entry point for the audience. You are the lens we see this through. Did that feel like pressure?
Mm. I think it felt like healthy pressure for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, anytime you're kind of like, as you said, the lens through which the audience gets to experience this story. So I think there's a need for clarity. There's a need for being able to communicate complex things efficiently. Um, and yeah, it felt daunting is the wrong word, but I guess like a healthy kind of daunting at the beginning of any project. Like if I don't convince people that I'm Tara going through something, this film doesn't really work because it is such it's more than, just a found footage kind of like horror pieced together thing. I really do think it's like a family drama and it's about a
Yeah.
woman going through some really big things. And also the fact that we shot it in such a way that you got on board and didn't really get off for 12 days because
Mm.
the schedule was so condensed. And with the way that we shot, there wasn't a lot of room for like editing or coverage.
Mm.
Normally, we all know you would do like 2/8 of the page. And then within that, you're also getting this coverage and you're getting this coverage and you're turning around. So like you have time to try different things. Or if one take didn't go so well, you trust that the editor's not going to use that take. But these were continuous shots. So we would start a big scene, we'd do the
Mm.
whole thing, and then maybe we would do it again, but very rarely did we get more than probably like 2 or 3 stabs at this. So, I felt really, really prepared, and I did a lot going into this to, like, know this person, um, and I was writing, like, journal entries. I actually just found my journal from this
Oh.
time, and I was reading it the other day, and I had these scrapbooks, and I had, like, went and found old pictures of, like, kids in the '90s, and that was my brother, and, like, it was just something
Mm.
I'll keep forever. But I think all of those little things that you do alone by yourself really prep you, at least prep me for a big job like this. And I learned so much about what it is to, you know, carry a film as the person whose story it is. And yeah, I'm just excited to take like the learnings and the failings and the successes into whatever I get to do next.
I love it. I mean, Piri, were you actually scared on set? Miranda, are you that girl that's like, pull up?
I am that girl that's like, pull up, always pull up.
I did not expect you to say that. You better pull up.
I am never not pulling up, let me tell you. No, I scared on set, like, from a spooky, scary perspective? Like,
Yeah.
ghosts. Well, of course, ghosts are real. And so I
Yeah.
went
We were like,
into the
Terra, don't
film
go into the woods.
Don't
So-
go
The water.
to or the water. Oh my god, the water. Yeah, I don't think I was ever scared, but I was, like, deliciously aware. I think the most scared I was actually when we didn't have power up north because that got
Yeah.
real, where I was like, "Oh, there are real." I don't know, one of the things that Markian asked, all of us in the film when we auditioned was like, "What's our relationship to the supernatural, and do we believe in ghosts?" And I don't know if that was a litmus test of like, "Okay, if you don't believe, you don't get to be in this movie." But, so obviously I was like, yes." But I do. I absolutely believe in the supernatural. We're just little orbs of energies floating around. Some of us have human bodies, some of us don't anymore, but we are all just like all the time. And so I think that there's such a safety and a comfort in that. And I love the idea of knowing that, you know, people are with us all the time. And I think that the difference between my take on it and Tara's was that like Tara needed proof of a physical person in order to feel that closure of what happened with her brother. Whereas, I mean, I can't speak to what I would be like if that happened to me, but I think like, yeah, keeping that as something that was so necessary for her was like one of the distancing parts between me and this character. Whereas I'm like, I don't know, I think I like it. I like them around. I like ghosts around.
I really enjoyed Tara's like how it almost felt like you pulled from something from the past, like emotionally of like loss or something like that. But I also heard you say earlier that you like looked back at the pictures of like your brothers and like was it kind of like did you have moments of where you're like, oh, like if this would have happened to them kind of thing?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I it was we shot this right before the holidays and I went home after and I just remember being so like just like hugging my little brothers and just wanting to hang out with them all the time after going through this because yeah, I mean like actors are so funny. You have to in order to do your job, you have to go to sometimes some dark places and obviously there are you know, there's things that we do to keep ourselves like emotionally safe and regulated and remembering that this is just a story, but there's truth and like there's deep grief, like intergenerational grief that I was, you know, it was pretty easy to tap into. And the reminder that like that kind of lives in all of us at all times and you don't have to work that hard if the story is great and the people that you're working with are just as tapped in. I think like everyone, I mean, Christine Willis, she plays Pam, the officer. She's just like phenomenal and such a gift to work with. But being able to bear witness to like her truth and in performance challenged me to rise to that level. And I think then, you know, it happens all the time. Markian as well. Susan McFarlane, who's Lucy's mom, who plays my mom. It's just like everyone was really committed to giving genuine performances. And I think that we just made each other's better, you know? And it made it feel safe to go to a place that was really, you know, like a big emotional storm, I guess.
I love talking about the supernatural, like horror films in general is my favorite genre of movies.
Is
And
it?
yes, I drag him to all of them. And
Okay,
like,
and do you go
Before we got
willingly?
Yeah, so before we got together, I would never. Like, I was
No.
not a scary movie person.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? He loves these movies. I need to just go and do this.
Yeah.
But I am that
Wow.
person that I'm like this. I
Yeah.
accidentally do the screaming. Like I'm that one.
Accidentally.
Me
It
too.
like just, just like pours out
Yeah.
of me.
Totally. Of course. No, me too. I'm so
Yeah.
reactive. 1,000%.
So reactive.
What do you love about horror?
I think it's like the ultimate fantasy,
Mm,
of fear, Like what is fear? Because it's so different for every human being. And
yeah.
fear from being a kid. I mean, all kinds of things. And it's like, I imagine the creator, right? The filmmaker, the actor. What does it take to be in that scary, fearful moment and the things that go into it, whether it's the costume, the makeup, like the
Yeah.
setting. I love it. It's my favorite thing to watch because I think as much as it's been told and as many times as it's been told, there's always something new to create in the dynamic.
Yes.
Fear
Totally.
can't be one thing. I want to see like what are they gonna do? Like if it's
Yeah.
like the movie Weapons, where I'm like,
Mm.
how did they think of that? And it's like all kinds of stuff. I obsess over it. And even
Completely.
today when Coco got dressed, I was like, you're giving like exorcism.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, you are giving
You know why I wore
exorcism.
this?
Why?
Because I feel like this film is gonna become a cult classic. So I was like, let me just pull out my dark
Oh,
bits.
manifest. That's called manifestation by wardrobe. Thank you.
I know.
Because I had a whole other outfit, and then because our closets are just kind of insane.
Right.
And then I
I
saw
feel that.
this like peeking out, and I was like, well,
There she is.
that's it.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
chose you actually for today. It chose you.
Yeah,
And it chose
100%.
well. No, I
But I love
totally
the
agree
idea of
with the
what?
horror element of just like there isn't really a glass ceiling of creativity when it comes to horror because you are playing in the fantastic. So like it feels like a genre of film where every department really gets to shine and gets to
Yes.
and so therefore it feels like such an ensemble work where like you see creativity in every aspect. Like lighting gets to like do something fabulous and hair and makeup and wardrobe and like that's the stuff that I love. Like I love watching a film and being like, "Oh my god, how fun was this to design?" Or like how whatever. And not to say that other genres don't have that, but I do think that consistently when I talk to other filmmakers who work in different departments, everyone's really stoked to work on genre work and horror because
Right.
it's out of this world, right?
Yeah, it's really a dream of mine to be on set of a horror
Have you
film.
have you done a horror?
No.
No,
No.
I have not.
No.
Okay.
Wow.
You know.
Well,
It's on the list.
we got your number now. There's
Fun
more
fact.
to be done. Yes.
Miranda just directed a horror short earlier this year.
Period.
God, Miranda.
And
Wow.
guess who was in it? Could you guess who was in it?
Oh
If you had
gosh.
to guess. She's in this room.
Lucy.
Full star.
Sorry, I jumped to that.
Did you also know that Lucy is in Hunting Matthew Nichols? Fun
No.
fact.
I was like,
Okay,
what?
so yeah, you are in some capacity. Close your eyes,
Okay.
everyone, except for Lucy. Now, I want you to say say it.
Terra.
It's Terra.
And then you say, okay, now I want you to say I'm trying to think of the lines that you said. Okay, Lucy is when Tara's on the phone in the hotel room, the lawyer on the other side of the phone.
Period.
True.
Right?
I also know.
I know. Okay, never mind. We can all open our eyes. I was trying to think of
Perfect
the lines that you said.
There you go.
I mean, Lucy, Miranda called you iconic. And we
Yes.
don't throw that word around lightly. So
No.
what is it about you that makes people say that?
Mm.
Oh my God, you have to answer that. What makes you iconic?
And remember, it is okay to be. Just say it because everyone wants to
Yeah.
hear it, even if it's wild.
For that.
You're that girl.
Wow. Well, I really think that speaks to Miranda's generosity. But honestly, I feel like again, we have found something special working together and we're able to work in like many capacities. So we're both writers and directors and actors and producers and which I think you sort of have to be today, in order to get
Yeah.
anything happening, you kind of have to push it yourself. And so I
Okay, I'll take over.
Magic. It's magic.
You're magical.
Magic.
Yes, magic. Lucy has an ability to like. You're such a connector, and you're such a doer and such a go getter, and like we can have an idea for a project. I'll mention something, and then like 3 days later, she's like, "Okay, I've applied for 3 grants and 6 labs, and I need this, 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 and this from you." And I'm like, what? How? Okay, sure. And but having somebody that's like that in a partnership is just like completely invaluable, and I think that yeah, remember this name, people.
Aw.
Get on
Oh,
board.
it's noted. It's
Noted.
Lucy, what was it like being producer on this film, Matthew Nichols? Like, what's that experience like, and what does that entail?
I mean, it's been a bit of a wild ride. It was all of our first features, and I think when we started out, no one really knew what to expect. And I think the expectation was that it might be easier than it was. And we were kind of approaching every chapter like that. Like this was it. Like, okay, we just have to get it up. We just have to find enough money to like get to camera.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't really have enough to do that. We're gonna keep finding more. Okay, post is another chapter. You know what I mean? And I think as each step, we learned a lot about the process and about maybe the ways that people traditionally approach different aspects of it. And I feel like since the beginning, we've sort of been, I guess, untraditional in the way that I think people, especially in Canada, maybe do a low budget feature. There's normally a lot of soft funding, and we didn't want to wait. We wanted to just kind of get it going. And then, of course, in the way that we decided to self-distribute was very untraditional. And yeah, I feel like we're in this chapter of it now and learning lots. There's constantly flooded with new information about, how it's landing, what other people are doing, what people would do differently. And, and I think the industry has changed and is constantly changing so much. And there's so many things to take into consideration when you are sort of, trying to launch your baby into the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like you guys were like right as everything is shifting, right?
Yeah.
You did it right then. Because it's like
Yes, it was
everything's
like
shifting.
I think it was like
Yeah.
on the tail end of the the SAG strike. What was something was there was a strike. But wasn't, I mean, for us in Canada, we just were like, let's do this indie thing. And I think a lot of people, like a lot of creators, are probably having the same feeling of like, I want to work, I want to make my thing. Like, what can we just do? And I love that, because I feel like COVID and there's certain times where like a lot of really incredible art comes out of it, because we're starved for connection. And the people who really love what they do and do it for the reasons of like, I would do it for free and I would do it spending my own money, which often happens with, indie filmmaking.
Yeah.
But that's when
Right.
those projects really shine, and then you see it, the waterfall effect of like a few years later, these projects start popping up at festivals, and they're talks of whatever, and they've started from like such a small seed with just a group of people that were really committed to, like, as Lucy said, taking it step by step. And I'm so excited to see like the projects a few years from now that are being written and shot and developed right now that are going to blow us away in a similar kind of like indie self-distributed fashion. So yeah, it's so much is changing, and it's cool to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I love how you said that. I mean, I started a sobriety journey as I started the podcast, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's given me this whole new, like, creative life with so many new
Amazing.
creatives, in my life. And it's like every project, of course, like of course we want a paycheck, but it's like every project is just looked at like, is this fun? Is this gonna like help us grow? And like
Yes.
you said, are we helping somebody else get to where they want to be,
Yeah.
and like, well, why not?
And it can all happen at the same time. First of all, congratulations. That's so
Yeah, that's
exciting for
amazing.
you. Amazing,
Thank
amazing.
you.
But they can happen at the same time. Like, I mean, obviously I'm about paying people too. I want people to make money. I need to make we all got to eat, right? But
Yes.
they can happen at the same time, and you can hold yourself and others to a creative standard where it's like, we want to tell great stories, we want to be good people, we want to have fun, because this is our job. Like, how lucky that this is our job. And I think that the highest peak is like when those things are all happening in tandem, and there's a really beautiful marriage of like, I'm getting something of this. I know I'm helping someone achieve their X, Y, and Z. I'm making a little bit of money and I'm working with great people. Like, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that, really.
My filmmaking journey also started with my sobriety journey, which I feel like is a different conversation for a different time. But I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, congratulations. I
Yep.
love hearing that, Lucy, so much.
This is so crazy because
So much.
he is what you said Lucy was. He's the person that like is, will make all the calls, will make all the connections. It is just like,
Busy brain.
brings me lots of joy.
Yes.
It's like a, yeah,
Love.
I love that so much.
Amazing.
You gotta
Guys,
I always get so emotional.
take a moment and just read everyone. This is a moment to subscribe.
Do we need an ad break? I think we need an ad break.
Take a couple of deep breaths.
Hunting Matthew Nichols is more than just a film. It's really special, and it's really, if we're liking what we're hearing, like, subscribe, also go follow these ladies, follow the film. There's so much coming. And it's a community. So like, subscribe. We're on all platforms. And let's get right back into it, Papa.
Okay, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Cocoism, the podcast. It's time to play a little game called Redrum Redrum.
Ooh.
If you know, you know. And if you don't, you're about to find out.
Oh, blessed be.
Okay. So we're going to go around, and each person you're going to answer, what's your survival strategy in a horror film, and what's one mistake you would never make? I'm dying to know this. Miranda.
Who's going? I'm going first. Okay. What's my survival strategy? Like, I guess it depends where it's set, but my survival strategy in a horror film, honestly, just like shut up and go and sink to the back. It's always the one who's like, I have a plan, I have an idea, I'm taking charge. It's main character energy, which I think we should all have in our lives. However, asterisk, in a horror setting, just sink to the back, be nondescript, try not to make too much of a scene. And I think the quiet ones survive in horror specifically. Now, would that be a challenge for me? Absolutely. But if my life is on the line, I think that maybe I'm going to try to, and then I guess, like, I don't know, befriend the monster. I think, like, you catch more flies with honey, right?
Yep.
Befriend the monster, befriend the ghost, make some type of a deal, charm them, use charm on monsters works. Yeah, I think that's my take. Either throw on the invisibility or charm them.
I love that because I don't know, for some reason I went like the totally opposite direction where like
You went main
I feel
character.
like I would want to almost act as crazy as whoever is trying to kill me and be like, you know what? Like, I'm right here. What?
I'm with
I'm as
you.
crazy as you are. So
I love
I
that.
think that
Also, it's
will
like
be
when you see a bear, like make yourself as big as the bear, right?
Yeah.
yeah. And I think
do
that's
think
gonna be
people still
distracting.
die, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's my plan to get away because I feel like
I
I'm gonna
love
be so
it.
wild that I'm gonna
Yours
escape.
sounds more fun. It sounds more entertaining. I'd be like, if I was watching the movie and I'm this boring person in the background trying to survive, I'd be like, no, next. I'm going back to the menu. I'm finding another movie. What about you, Lucy?
Well, very boring. I'd play dead.
Oh,
For sure. Early on, I'd be out having a little nap somewhere.
a little nap. Yeah. Holding your breath.
I love that. I feel like when you told me this question, I formulated a whole other answer, and then you asked it again, and I realized it was totally different. So my first, I didn't know it was in a movie. In a movie, I would be that one to be like, I would talk too much. I would be like, because I would also because I'm a little scared of the dark, Like, and when I saw y'all in the forest, I was like, I don't know about that. Because any like branch breaking, I'm all,
yeah, you're on your toes.
But then also, like, I thought it was like more in like real life. If it was something scary happening, I would just run. Like, I'm not one. I'm like, we got to get out of there.
Yeah,
like, I'll snatch everybody up and run.
Yep.
Don't go in that
100%.
room.
No,
Don't go in that
superhuman strength.
room.
No,
Everyone on my back, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when you hear screaming, you're like, oh God, but then you're
Yes.
like, I don't know.
As
So
soon as
we
you
would
lose as soon as you lose service, get out of there.
Yeah.
get out.
Like when y'all lost power, I would
Mhm.
be like, oh wow. But then also I'm like, this is kind of like deliciously perfect. And I love
It
that you said that
was.
word
It was
earlier. Because
delicious. It
I
was
love
deliciously
delicious.
perfect.
Decadent.
Me too.
Decadent.
Decadently
I,
perfect.
I love that. I mean, I seriously, and Hunting Matthew Nichols, when you all were gonna go camping, I was like, oh God, it's like
I
they're not gonna.
know.
I don't know who's gonna survive.
Yeah, he's like, if we're not back in 48 hours or whatever, I was like, don't go.
And
But
it never ends well. Like, point me to a movie where people go camping and actually come back. I don't think
yeah,
like it's not. There's nothing
yeah.
good happens after a solo venture into the woods. I think in this space, in this horror space.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so to close out Red Rum, who do we think would survive? Who would die first, and who would we never hear from again?
I feel like
In
you
the
should just in this.
Yeah,
Okay.
with our answers.
based on our answers, okay.
I feel like we would die and y'all would survive.
I feel
Right?
that too.
I think we took very passive stances. I think that just based on the fact that Lucy's allegedly already dead, maybe she would ironically survive. But I feel like I don't know. I think if the evil is a human, but like if the evil is another spirit, I think they're gonna know, Lucy, that you're not really dead. I think they'll
Yeah.
be able to sniff it out.
Yes, Lucy.
Just saying. I don't know.
I love it.
I want the
Okay.
two of you to survive, though, because I think you have a lot to give culture. So you need to survive. We can die.
I love that.
Okay.
No, I think
Live
we will all survive.
on.
I'm all climbing the tree.
You do. Cocoism can't die, you know?
Thank you.
Aww.
You said you have things cooking,
Ooh,
both of you.
pressure
So,
cooker.
now we need a taste.
Oh.
What's next after
Mm.
Hunting Matthew Nichols? What are you two working on?
What are we working on? I
I
just
love this. Girl.
finished shooting a project yesterday, and then I start another one tomorrow. So that's exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Lucy and I together are developing a couple features. I go back to a TV show that I'm on in the summertime. We shoot that every summer. Yeah, we have like a short film that's going to an exciting festival coming up that we co-directed. So we're kind of like, that's going to have a festival circuit. The film that Lucy and I did together, the horror that we were talking about, that'll hopefully have a fun festival run.
Love it.
Yeah, Lucy is currently working on a film in Toronto as a producer.
Love it.
Oh,
Yeah, just like
incredible.
little stuff's moving.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. You
Yeah.
got hands are in a lot of places.
Exactly. Hands are where they
Yes, I
should
love
be.
this. Period.
Amazing.
Yep,
We've had such a good time. I wanted to ask, I'd like to know if both of you would just leave the audience at Cocoism, the fans of Hunting Matthew Nichols, and leave us with a thought, please.
Any thought?
Any thought.
Literally whatever
Okay,
you
well,
want.
I did the Red Rum first. So Lucy, you
Okay,
can go
my
first.
closing thought is please go see films in the theater.
Mm.
Support independent cinema and show up because it matters. And I think, we've let it kind of slip away the last couple of years. So get your butts in seats, please.
Doing that.
Yes, I can't. I honestly, I don't even want to take away from that energy because that feels like
That was
so
so
much
good.
of what
Beautiful.
I will only add on to like go to the theater, but also just like go take in art. Like go to the theater. There are so many accessible. I know theater can feel really inaccessible for a lot of folks, but like look up the small theater that's playing in your town. It doesn't need to be some like Broadway across America situation. There's like beautiful art happening everywhere. And I think we've become a society that is like so insular and so on our phone, and we're only seeking, these creative outlets if they can fit in the palm of our hand. But like widen the lens, and I think that you will be so happily surprised and like really deeply fulfilled. Go to art galleries, go to see live music, go challenge yourself to like take something in that maybe doesn't feel like you and allow yourself to like meet
It's
people
beauty.
in that world and get surprised. Like there's such an education out there for all of us. And I'm like, I get so excited thinking about people stepping into that. That's my thoughts. And also go to the movies.
I
But
love
mostly
all
if
this.
you only do one thing, go to the movies.
I love all the talk about art and consuming it, but consuming it with like in a different way. Because you know, our son is 14 and his name's Matthew, and I find it
No
really
way.
His name is Matthew.
His name
and
is
it's
Matthew?
really yeah.
So of course you watch this movie like
And it's really important for like all people, but especially, you know, like, and I think young people are kind of in this place of like they want to, but then it's like this thing has consumed them. But really
Yeah.
take a moment and look out, and there's
Mm,
so much beauty out there to go
yes.
and find. That's why we go to the movies all the time, because it brings us joy, but it also
Yes.
it takes us into this creative world that we didn't create, because that's what we
And
do all day is
and
create.
you're
So,
creatives,
you
exactly.
know, so it's like going and sitting in that film and like putting the phone away and just letting people like you just show us what this world
Aw.
is. I mean, that is
Yeah.
like, you know, thank you for that,
Thank
honestly.
you.
And don't
Thank you
stop.
for showing up.
Yeah.
We don't plan to. Yeah,
Period.
it's I love such a gift like getting to work in this aspect of life. Like it's I pinch myself every day and it like sounds so corny, but it is just like the greatest job. You're playing pretend and making art with your friends. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be anything more than that. It's so cool.
Mm.
Matthew Nichols is Hunting Matthew Nichols is such a special film.
Mhm.
I'm so honored to be here with both of you. It's such a creative space, and it's so fun to just hear where you're coming from. So I want to thank you for that. It's quite the episode. It's been too many things for me.
And I think today the two of you are way too many things. So let's be too many things
Too many things.
together.
Oh,
Together.
too many things.
We're gonna take a moment and just
Yeah.
greet everyone. This is a moment
Yeah.
to subscribe.
Do we need an
Yeah.
ad break? I think we do not.
You know,
Take a couple of deep breaths.
Hunting Matthew Nichols is more than just a film. It's really special, and it's really, if we're liking what we're hearing, like, subscribe, also go follow these ladies, follow the film. There's so much coming. And it's a community. So like, subscribe. We're on all platforms.